Hey guys, welcome back to Gear Force. My name is Paul, and today we're taking a look at the Maxpedition Beefy. First of all, thank you to Maxpedition for sending this along for review. They did provide this review sample, however they did not provide any financial compensation, nor did they have any early access to the review or any input into my thoughts. This is just my experience having owned this guy for a couple of weeks now, having used it a little bit, and just my general thoughts on the product. That said, let's go ahead and jump on into a size comparison. So as you can see, we have our normal 91 and 58mm eye knives, and you can see this is a big boy. We'll go ahead and give you that side comparison. This isn't fully loaded at the moment, but hopefully you can see just how capacious this guy can get, depending how much stuff you stuff into it. And I suppose another relevant size comparison might be the Maxpedition Mini, which even loaded up entirely fits within the confines of the Beefy with a lot of room to spare. I mean, this guy isn't really occupying all that much space in here. So as you can see, this is effectively the same design with some material changes. I have owned this guy for 14 years or something crazy now. So obviously some things have changed over the years, but the basic design of this classic range is the same. We have our mesh, we have our Velcro, and then inside we have our organization. So let's go ahead and check out the features of this before we go into the kind of use cases and what I think this would be well used for. On the front, we have a Velcro panel. This is 2" by 4", and this can hold all kinds of Velcro patches, morale patches, whatever you like, be it for whimsical purposes, if you just like how it looks, or if you want to put something more informative on there. Say if you're going to use this for a medical kit, perhaps a first aid patch and then a patch denoting your personal blood type might be something appropriate. And we have this mesh outer part that is behind the Maxpedition logo, sealed with some nice sturdy Velcro. So this mesh is actually very durable. I don't think you would easily tear or rip it, but given that it is just a sleeve on the front, I think that's probably best suited for some smaller, flatter items. The zipper pulls themselves are nice YKK zippers, so we have smooth operation. The hardware is Duraflex, so it is nice, sturdy, and is going to serve you a long time. On the top, we have a heavy-duty carry handle. If you can just look how well that's stitched, how thick this is, you can really weigh this down and give this a good yank, and this is not going to come away from the pouch whatsoever. And then we also have some good, sturdy MOLLE webbing as well, should you wish to attach this to a larger pack, or if you want, you could even use this as additional kind of like surface area should you wish to add something to the outside of the pouch. That is also an option if you really want to. This would function quite well also on the side of a larger pack as kind of an accessory bag. Going on to the interior, we have the two sides. Starting out with this side, we have a small paracord style little loop for a clip attachment point, as well as a kind of leash style D-ring carabiner but leash point. This entire panel is a sleeve, so you can get some flatter items down in the back there as well. And then we have these elastic attachment points. This breaks down into 3 larger ones with 2 smaller ones on front. To give you an idea of the size of these, the smaller ones are pretty much perfect size for a 58mm. So something on the smaller end, pens, spare batteries, that kind of thing would fit in there very well. And the larger loops can easily hold items such as a 21700 flashlight or a larger multi-tool, things of that nature. I imagine if you have a pair of Knipbacks, they would also fit quite nicely in here. Coming over to the other side, you can see that we have kind of depth to it. Now, this is something that you don't really get on the smaller pouches like the Mini. Let's crack this guy open. you can see that they're basically the same, right? You have a little bit of depth to both, but they're basically the same in a clamshell style. Whereas with the Beefy, we definitely have more of a lid, and then we have a deep compartment. And if you were to really stretch this out and load it to the max, you can see just how deep this does get. Now, in this corner, we do have an elastic ring, should you wish to take advantage of this hinged portion to put a larger item. And then, similar to the lid portion, we have some elastic looping. However, they are larger. So we have these two large loops here, which would be great for something like a notepad. And then these two on the outside are much larger. Just to give you a size reference, it will easily swallow a 91mm. And then we have this zip compartment on the back, which would be great for some loose items to stop them floating around. So if you're using this for a tool bag, if you want to carry it for some loose hardware so it doesn't get just loose in here and scratch everything up. That's the basic overall design of the pouch. Now let's go ahead and go into some potential use cases and some context for what you might want to carry in this. Okay, just to give you a little example, this isn't a confirmed loadout. To be honest, I have some gear in mind that I want to get my hands on, some more dedicated tools, that kind of thing, that I would load this out with. This is just an assortment of things, just so you get an idea of what you can load into this bad boy. So as you can see, we now have some load, and whilst we are bulging here, we have plenty of give left in the rest of the pouch. This can carry a lot more than it's in here. So just as an example, we have a pen. This is a full-size Bastion bolt action. A 21700. This is the Workhorse TD04. In the back here, completely disappearing behind that panel, we have the 2-in-1 USB-C cable from Anker. In this little hinge elastic strap, this is the perfect place for something like a pen, and I do like a larger marker. This Bic is a nice chisel point, and being a little fatter, it just secrets away there quite nicely. It doesn't get in the way, you're not bumping into it whenever you don't need it. I think that's a great spot for a fatter marker like this. And then on this side, we just went with some larger items. So in the outer strap, you can easily have some smaller items. This is a utility box cutter. This is Ron's utility knife from Screw Pop. Here we have a 10,000 milliamp hour MagSafe power bank. I was originally going to show a much larger power bank in here. Unfortunately, when I came to record this video, I discovered that had turned into a spicy pillow. So this is the example we get instead, but this will easily hold quite a large power bank or multiple power banks for different situations. It easily holds a 4-ounce bottle. This is Whoosh screen cleaner, great for glasses, great for screens, lenses, that kind of thing. Completely holds this, plenty of space for its cleaning cloth as well. And just as an example, here is a full-size multi-tool. This is just a budget tool that will get reviewed eventually from Amazon. This is a bit bulkier, a bit larger than a Wave, just a little bit, but not quite as large as a Surge. Just to give you an idea for context of how big this is inside there. So this thing will absolutely swallow gear, devour gear, and carry it all nice and securely until you need it. So what can you use this for? I think this has really a few main cases. This would make an excellent tech pouch if you're carrying a lot of accessories, your charging cables, a power bank, if you are leading that dongle life, particularly if you have some models of MacBook where you only have USB-C, so swallow a dongle quite easily. Network adapter if you are working in a professional environment and you need access to Ethernet, or an external display adapter if you want to hook up to a projector. This will make quite a well-stocked personal first aid kit, I think. It'll hold quite a lot of dressings, cleaning products for wounds and whatnot. quite easily, and this would make a pretty decent small toolkit in general. If you wanted to have just some essential tools, certain sizes of screwdriver, wrench, whatnot available, perhaps to have on a motorcycle or if to have underneath the seat of your car, I think this would work very well in those applications. But you have to understand that this is a very, very large pouch, right? With the other pouches from Maxpedition, particularly the Mini and Micro, but also the original Organiser size to some degree, you could reasonably get away with throwing this in a cargo pocket, right? A jacket pocket, a hoodie pocket. These are sizable objects, but you could reasonably carry them on your body. That's not going to happen with the Beefy. You do need to be aware that this is something that is going to live in a location, be it in your house, in a vehicle, or in a bag, or perhaps mollied to the inside or outside of a bag. But this is definitely not something that you're going to be carrying on your person. And whilst the carry handle is easy to grab, it's also not something that you're going to be carrying it by for a prolonged period of time, and there are no sling point attachments. So this is something that you're going to buy to put in a bag, put in a vehicle, put it somewhere and forget about it. Honestly, at this size, it becomes a very real consideration for luggage, should you use this for traveling. Whilst you can fit some essentials in the smaller sizes, honestly, this is about the size of a lot of DOP kits, wash bags, that kind of thing. It could easily hold quite securely in a modular fashion a lot of your traveling goodies, should you want. So that is a possible use for it as well, just something to consider. But this is definitely a pouch that you buy with a purpose in mind, and something that you're not going to be carrying around lightly, because it is securely carrying a lot of your gear. In terms of colors, this is the Wolf Grey. It does come in OD green, khaki, and foliage green, as well as black. Here you can see one of their other colors. I want to say this is foliage green. I'm not entirely sure. Again, I've had this a long time. But all of the standard colors that this classic or legacy designs come in, it is available in the Beefy. The exterior is some nice rugged 1050 denier nylon. And just if you do want the actual specs of this rather than just my miscellaneous size comparisons, which should be a standard at this point. I mean, what can't you measure with a 91mm Simon knife? This is 8 inches high, 6 inches wide, and packed out gets to 2.5 inches thick. Volume wise, it's about 116 cubic inches or 1.9 liters. So again, this is a very capacious guy, especially considering the footprint. You can fit a lot in this. And if you want to pick one of these guys up for yourself, check out the description for an affiliate link, which does help support the channel at no extra cost to yourself. These retail for between £20 to £32, or about $33 in US, which, you know, pretty standard. By the time you factor in tax, it basically comes out the same. Considering the size, build quality, and from my personal point of view, the trust that Maxpedition has built as a brand with their hardware and gear, I think that it's a very good price, to be honest. I've seen, especially nowadays in the EDC space, you can pay a lot more money for a lot less pouch from brands that have a lot less standing behind them. So would I recommend the Maxpedition Beefy? Yes, if you have a use case in mind for it and you're not going to underfill it and then not end up using it. If you really like the Beefy, but you're not entirely sure what you're going to put into it, remember they do have all kinds of sizes of Organiser that might fit you better. But if you're looking to really load something out, build a nice, good, chunky toolkit or first aid kit, something like that, a good hardy tech pouch that you can carry around without it being too massive, then the Beefy is going to be for you. Let me know what you think of the Beefy down in the comment section down below. Whilst you're down there, I would appreciate a like and subscribe. I've been Paul, this has been the Beefy, and I will see you in the next video.